Hello everyone, welcome back. Adam here with our second ever stream recap. Eventually, I'm going to run out of fingers to do this with recaps, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. So this is the recap for the week of September 3rd through September 8th. So last time I talked about how I was a little bit I don't know, anxious to do these or whatnot, but I kind of realized that they can be informal. They can be just like the stream. So this might be a little bit less formal than the last one, I guess, even though the last one wasn't too formal. Anyway, let's get into it. Hopefully this one won't be a 30-minute one, but it will be as long as it needs to be, I suppose. So we're going to talk about the continuation of Mass Effect 1. We're going to talk about the continuation of our Deathless Blood Moon run. And then a little bit of stream stuff. Not very much, though. Some information about emotes, new information, and a little bit about what we've been doing on social media. So let's get started. I have my cheat sheet here that I typed up to remember what all has happened in Mass Effect and the stream in general. Because we have done a lot of stuff, a lot of things in Mass Effect. A lot of it's been side quests, though. I'm still enjoying Mass Effect. And as an overall, before I start with what we've done in the story this past week, I'll say that I'm still enjoying the game, the world building, galaxy building, the stories, the writing. The writing for the game is very good. The combat is okay. And I don't know, overall the gameplay is okay. It's not like blowing me away with gameplay. But I know it's an older game, so to say now, older. 2007, I think. And a lot of people have said that the second one fixes a lot of those issues. But the story and writing are good enough to make it so that the minor gripes about gameplay, you know, aren't that big of a deal. The story outweighs that enough that I would happily keep playing on or off stream. So anyway, where were we? So we started out the week still on Novaria. So if you don't remember, that's that Hoth-like planet. Everything is frozen over, and basically like there's lots of shady scientific research going on there. Like the mountains are hollowed out throughout the planet, and there's like genetic stuff going on. Who knows what else is going on? Like corporates basically pay for these hush hush science facilities on this world. So anyway, we ended up helping a Turian. We had a couple of different ways that we could have gotten the garage key, but we ended up helping this Turian there, who was kind of like a cop, sort of, I guess. But anyway, we proved that the Solarian that was overseeing, I don't know, like people coming in and out of the facility, their planet basically, that he was shady, that he was doing things under the table he wasn't supposed to be doing, and some other bad things. So anyway, we ended up getting the information. We ended up getting the key from the Turian, and then we got to go, and hey, we got to go in the Mako, the bouncy house vehicle tank with the incredible aim. Can zoom in better than a sniper rifle, and it's crazy the difference in the spread from like not zooming in on the battle rifle part of it, I guess you would say, the, I don't know, railgun or the rocket, either one, and when you zoom in it's like pinpoint from across the map. But anyway, and we were headed to Peak 15, and Peak 15 is where the matriarch Benezia, who was Liara's mother, is supposed to be. And on our way to Peak 15, we run into a lot of Geth. It seems like we're running into Geth everywhere. For those of you that don't remember, Geth are the AI race that the Quarians made that eventually took over, and they kind of see the Reapers as like deities, as godlike beings. So they're trying to bring back the Reapers, and Saren, of course, the main bad guy in this so far, has been working with them, or they've been working with him. Either way, they're working together. So we make it to Peak 15. And it's kind of weird because it seems at least semi-abandoned. Like we go in and there's like the outside doors and windows have been raised. There's tons of snow coming in. It's super cold. And then suddenly we run into these bug-like creatures. And immediately I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Are these what I think they are? Sure enough, they are the Rachni, whichever way you pronounce it. They've pronounced it both ways in the game. So Rachni, whatever. But as you might recall from the last video, these are the bug-like swarm that almost took over the entire galaxy and the Krogan were raised up to defeat them, and the Krogans supposedly killed all of them into extinction. But I guess not, because here they are. So we fight them, including some big ones that are stealthed. We didn't even know about. Like, I would go into a room, and there was nothing in there, and I was like, well, the first time, of course, like after that, it didn't catch me off guard quite as much. But I went to a room, and there was nothing in there, but we had to like hack a door to go in there. So I was like, that's kind of weird. And then suddenly, giant bug, giant arachne. So we find our way through there, and you know, there's some other stuff's going on in there. We go to different labs, we get information and stuff. I'm not going to go through all the little side quests unless I find them super interesting or they're super relevant to the story. But anyway, we eventually make it to where Matriarch Benezia is, and she attacks us. Now, I have Liara with us on this mission. You don't have to bring Liara, but I've been bringing her to most of the missions. So we fight Liara's mother with Liara on our team, and I'm thinking, well, some of the interaction obviously is happening because I have Liara, but basically she has a power level, and once it gets low enough, once we beat her back low enough, she suddenly becomes like a different person. Not physically, but like she kind of gets weakened and she starts talking like her old self, apparently. We've never talked to her before, but Liara seems to think she's talking normally, and she tells us that she doesn't want to be doing this, that she is being mind controlled, or she says indoctrinated, so by Saren. So Saren is indoctrinating people, which is basically a form of mind control, where at first it's very subtle, and then over time it gets to where they eventually lose their mind to Saren, pretty much. And so we find out that Benezia and some more of her Asari allies or whatever people were basically trying to infiltrate what Saren was doing to learn what was going on and to stop him. But slowly, this indoctrination took place. These earworms or whatever, not physically literal things, but the point is, even someone as powerful as an Asari matriarch, 700,000 years old, somewhere in there, good person in all regards up until that point, was taken over by Saren. And she also says that it's something to do with a ship. He uses the ship called the Sovereign, and anyone that comes on that ship eventually bends under Saren's control, no matter how, stalwart they are in their resolve. Darkest Dungeon. So that's what she tells us. And at first I'm like, well, that's mighty convenient. Now that you're about to die, suddenly you come out of your mind control. But it seems to be legitimate, especially with the interaction she has with Liara. And let's see here. So she says that it's too late for her. That the indoctrination is too inset. So basically, no matter what, she's always going to be following this, path with Saren. So she chooses basically to die. So she dies. I mean, it's a pretty sad moment. It's the first kind of tear jerker. I mean, I didn't cry, didn't cause any tears, but it was sad, and especially with Liara there, and to think this person, alien, but still, this life had spent 700 to 1,000 years being a good person, learning and leading, and because of the Saren guy in the last, few years or whatever, she reached the end of her life by trying to kill her own daughter and help the person she was trying to stop. So, sad moment in the game. Before she dies, though, she does give us these coordinates that we needed, basically she's already given them to Saren. So we got to get to this place before Saren or stop him from getting there. But anyway, we do that, and then soon after, or immediately after, we realize there's this tank behind her, and it's a room that you can see through the glass, and there is a giant arachni in there, and they're like vats of acid behind it. So we go up to it, and it takes control of one of the Asari that was there. So kind of like the Independence Day scene where the alien wraps tentacle or whatever the crap you would call it around the scientist's neck at the window and has it speak. It does. This arachnide is the same thing. So it is. We learn that it's a arachnide queen, and we learn throughout this Site 15, this Peak 15 facility, from adding everything up and talking to, to Benezi and whatnot, and the queen itself, that the arachnide were pretty much wiped out, but a derelict ship was found, a arachnide ship with a single egg on it. And scientists thought that was going to be just a regular arachnide if they could get it to hatch, or if they could get some genes or something out of it. And they wanted to see if they could basically bring like the arachnide, the lesser ones, like the drone ones, back and use them, like control them, weapons or whatever. Stupid idea. Anyway, turns out it was a queen though, this queen. And she tells us quite a bit of things. She tells us that she doesn't really remember they're all connected. So any being of the arachnide that has a memory or a thought or whatever, the generations that come afterwards know these things. But for her, she's kind of removed from this war thing, and it's fuzzy to her. She doesn't really remember it seems. She also tells us that the reason the Arachne in the other part of the facility are attacking is because they were basically born without their mother's influence, without the connection to a queen. So they're just basically going rogue, and she says there's no way to fix them and that we need to kill them. But we basically have this long conversation with her, and then we have the option to either kill her or let her go. So at this point in the stream, we probably talk it over for, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes, Chat and I. But basically, we had to wait. Okay, their civilization nearly wiped out everything in the galaxy, but this queen didn't. They transmit their memories and their feelings across generations, but this queen didn't receive those. So she seems innocent. And to make a long story short, one of the main reasons I went with her is the whole like sins of the father, or sins of the mother, I guess, sins of the queen, whatever situation. It's like, just because her ancestors, people that she had no part in, waged this war. And she explains it a little bit about the war and whatnot, and how the connections work, and how they deal with thoughts, how they speak to each other, and all this other stuff. But anyway, she had no part in this, and I was like, okay, so I compared it with other things in the game, but also compared it in real life. Like, let's say you were born in Germany, and it turns out that your great grandfather was like one of the super evil, one of the Nazis, right? Like, did terrible experiments and killed these people. Just because their great grandfather was that way, should we condemn them? No, right? It's an easy decision when you're thinking about it in human terms. Now, I know within the complications of the game and this species being a hive mind for the most part, that stretches it a little bit, but that was the factor that tipped me over to basically letting her go, which I don't know if was a good decision or not. I don't know what things affect, but I know things that we do in this game affect other parts of the game, and I know that it affects maybe with these bugs, game 2 and 3, and I don't know about 4. But anyway, I chose to let her live, so she left. So we went and did what she said. We went and killed the other Arachne, the ones that were rogue, pretty much, the ones that were not going to listen to a queen, and before we left the planet. That's pretty much all we did there. Like I said, there was some other side things, people we talked to and whatnot. After that, we did a lot of side quests. I think all of Tuesday's stream and the beginning of Wednesday was probably side quests. So we were going to all kinds of different planets, and just pretty much doing everything. We tracked down a lot of leads from the Exogeny place. That was the corporation that had the giant plant-like thing. We find out that there are husks from that on other places. They've apparently taken samples. I'm really thinking they probably made another one somewhere, or in the process of making another one, because they are just stupid. But that's how I mean, it's pretty realistic, though, to be honest. Stupid people exist, even in the future. Who knew? The two that I will touch on a little bit that were pretty interesting. Like, I thought most of them were interesting. Some of them were more like just, you know, go gather this or that. But anyway, one is that we talked to Rex, and we learned more about him, and he wants to get his family armor. Now, the armor is like it's in his family for like 5 or 6 generations. It's not functional, but it's family heirloom. We also learn that when Rex is on his home planet, he wanted to stop fighting among themselves and try to be settlers, to you know, regenerate their species, stop killing each other in these tribal wars and fighting for power on their own planet, and spread and settle and rebuild their civilization, since they got the genophage that we talked about last time, which makes infant mortality rate almost 99, well, almost 100%. So anyway, we learn that he was going to go to his ancestors' sacred lands and basically hold council with these people, and that the leader of this other faction ambushed him, and there's not supposed to be weapons or anything on this sacred ground, and his men came out of the graves of their ancestors. They had dug up their dead ancestors and hidden the graves. So anyway, they came up, they tried to kill Rex and his tribe, and Rex killed the leader before fleeing as the other people died. And we learn that the leader was Rex's father. So he stabbed his own father. His father betrayed him first, though. So we learned that, which was... I like Rex. I like the Krogan story. It's one of my favorite parts of the game so far. We also help Garrus on a mission. So Garrus basically was trying to track down a organ trafficker in the Citadel, and they got away. It turns out this guy was basically finding really poor or homeless or down on their luck people and paying them a little bit of money to grow extra organs in them, and then he would harvest them. But if he scanned them and the organ didn't grow perfectly, if it wasn't a high-grade organ, he'd just leave it in there. And they would have all kinds of medical complications, and people would die. And but anyway, pretty nasty stuff. And when he tried to track him down, the guy changed his name and fled from the Citadel. And he tried to get the Council and CSEC, which is basically the cops of the Citadel, the police force, to allow him to go after them or even shoot them down or disable the ship, and they said no. Basically, you were like, it's not on the Citadel, it's not happening here, it's not our problem. Which, you know, we've heard from this council before, even in regards to Saren and the Reaper, which is concerning. But aside from that, we ended up taking Garrus with us, and we go find this guy. And when we find him, Garrus is like, that's him, let's kill him. And the guy's like, no, wait, I don't have no idea what you're talking about, I'm Dr. Hart. But the subtitles gave him away. So at first I was like, what if this isn't the guy? Do we believe Garrus? Do we let him kill this guy? Or do we say, how do we know this is the guy? Let's search, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. But the subtitles say the actual organ trafficker guy's name instead of Dr. Hart. So I was like, well, subtitles don't lie, and we killed him. So that was that. Like I said, we did tons of side quests. I pretty much finished all the side quests that we had, aside from ones that were like collection quests, where it was like, go scan every planet in the universe or the galaxy until you find 20 of this ore and 10 of this gas and, you know, 10 ancient writings. And now those might reveal something interesting in their own right, but it just wasn't interesting on stream to basically go scan every planet and then go down there and then zigzag across the whole thing to find them. I don't know if I'll finish those before we finish the game out. If I don't, I'll probably go read about them. So anyway, we went to, I think it was Vermeer, was how it was pronounced? Vermeer or Vermeer? Vermeer, I think. And this is where Saren's main science facility is. Okay. This is already way longer than I thought I would. Oh well, hopefully you guys enjoy this. I apparently like talking about it. So we ended up going to Vermeer, which is where Saren's main science facility and lab is located. We meet a Solarian captain there and his crew, and his name is Karahi. And he's pretty awesome. He's the first Solarian. Now, to remind you, Solarians are one of the ones that are on the council. They're the short-lived ones. They only live about 40 years. And they are fast-living, fast-to-speak, fast thinkers, super smart, but usually a little impulsive. But we meet Karahi, and he is the first Solarian that I actually like. He's pretty awesome. He gives this amazing speech. No one claps, though. He gives this awesome speech. But anyway, one of the first things we find out is that they have determined that Saren has found a cure for the Krogan genophage. And again, the genophage is what's basically wiping out the Krogan because they only have like one baby out of 1,000 survive. But apparently Saren has found a way to cure it. He is breeding Krogans in this facility. And Rex gets super mad that we're going to destroy it. And Rex even pulls a gun on us. But we talk him down and we talk it out. And Rex ends up agreeing that basically Saren and the Reapers would be using these Krogan for as slaves, and they would probably do something terrible once they won anyway, either get rid of them all or probably mass genocide. And Rex says something like, yeah, Saren and the Reapers would probably do more than just neuter us like the Council did, which is very literal. But anyway, so we calm Rex down. He agrees with us eventually. So we need to nuke the facility. The problem is it's like super heavily guarded. So we determine we have to pick either Ashley or Caden to go with the Solarian team from the front to lead a frontal assault, basically to pull all the defenses that way, while we and whoever we want to take go in the back to plant the nuke. So I choose Caden to go with us, for one, because I don't like Ashley, and for two, because he knew the stuff about the nuke, and Ashley's more like just a soldier. So she goes with them, and we go sneak in the back, pretty much. So there's quite a bit to this, but after we fight our way through, both in our vehicle and on foot, we eventually come to a specific lab room, and we are met by this giant red hologram. Very foreboding sounding, and it looks like a red hologram of some giant robot creature. So, and it introduces itself as Sovereign, which we know is Saren's ship. So Saren's ship is talking to us. And, you know, that's the ship that was helping indoctrinate, like, the matriarch, Benezia and whatnot, and whoever else is on it. So, turns out that it is a Reaper. It's not a Reaper ship. It is a Reaper. So Saren is basically flying around inside of a Reaper. He tells us that they're going to come soon, that there are legions of them. They will wipe out all of the biological life. We cannot understand their greatness. They are beyond comprehension in space and time, and that there are so many that they will blot out the sky in every world in the galaxy. That's a friggin' ton of Reapers, if that's the case. And of course, you know, then we shall fight in the shade. So we're talking this thing, but it's basically talking down to us because it sees us as completely insignificant. We also learned that even though the Geth worship it as gods, worship the Reapers as gods, and the Geth are machines, these things look down on the Geth pretty much just as much as biological life. So they're going to wipe out the Geth too, pretty sure. So anyway, it ends the conversation because it gets tired of our crap, I guess. We're telling it things like, no, you have never met a biological person or thing like me. We will stop you. We'll find a way, no matter what. So, anyway, it ends the conversation, and everything in the room shatters. We hear on the radio that Captain Karahi, the only Solarian, the one with the award-winning speech before battle, the Rudy moment or something, he's dead. He dies. So Ashley's kind of in charge of that group then. We end up getting the nuke planted, but it's not active yet because we're going to go save Ashley. We're going to go relieve her, help her. And on the way, Caden radios us, and he's like, we're being overwhelmed by the Geth and the enemy Krogan, and I'm setting the nuke off. And we're like, whoa, wait, Caden. And he's like, no, we have to do this mission no matter what. It is set. Beep. So I'm like, Caden, what the crap? Like, we could have come back and saved you. And then, you know, after we dealt with Ashley, whatever. But he set off the nuke. And so then we have a game-altering decision. Now, this one I know has super repercussions because we've already experienced one of it. It comes up and it says, you can either go save Ashley. She's being overwhelmed. You can keep going this route. You can save Ashley. But if you do, Caden will die at the nuke. Either he will die to the Geth, or the nuke will go off without him being able to escape. And Caden will die if you save Ashley. If you go after Caden, you will save him, most likely. and you will escape with, you know, and the nuke will go off after you guys are gone. But Ashley will die either to the Geth that they are being attacked with right now, or in the nuclear blast itself. And first thing I thought was, well, easiest decision of my Mass Effect life, because I really hate Ashley. She's so xenophobic and racist and just kind of a jerk. So I've been talking about how much I really don't like Ashley. Now, we did talk it through a little bit, and I still decided on Kaidan based on his past story and whatnot. So we went and saved Kaidan, and we go to Kaidan, we start killing, and at this point, we assume Ashley's going to die. And then Saren comes. We see Saren. He's like green goblining around on a magical surfboard or something, right? And first thing I note, though, is Saren is now like a little bit machine. And I'm pretty sure he wasn't like that in the beginning of the game when we first saw him. Sorry, nose itching. Been outside all day. Anyway, I'm pretty sure he didn't have these like machine parts on his face when we saw him before, but he does now. So he's like integrating more and more with the Geth or something. But anyway, he tells us that he's helping the Reapers in order to save everyone. He's helping the Reapers to save himself, let's be honest. Ugh. But he says, like, we will not be able to stop the Reapers. Look at the Protheans, how advanced they were, how much better than us they were, and they got wiped out like nothing. And it's going to happen again, and our only chance is to ally with the Reapers if they'll accept us. Help them. If we help with these beacons and whatnot, if we help bring back the Reapers, they will look kindly on us. There's no way. After talking to Sovereign, there's absolutely no way that would happen. But that's how he says. And we're like, Saren, you are being indoctrinated. And Saren's like, no, I worry about it. But no, I would be able to tell. Really? Because Matriarch Benezia wouldn't be able to tell, and but no, he's adamant on it. Anyway, we tell him he's full of crap and that he should be stopped, and so in true bad guy fashion, he wants to fight. So we fight him, and we actually like beat the crap out of him, but even though we're winning, we have like no damage and we have taken all of his health. Suddenly, it goes into a cutscene and he's winning. Of course, he's choking us even though he was across the screen. Anyway, the cutscene, the like cut into the cutscene was very awkward. But anyway, he eventually retreats because the nuke is going to go off soon. Our ship comes, the Normandy, and we get on there with Kaidan, and we leave, and the nuke explodes, and we are back on the ship, and we are reminiscing about Ashley, how she was a good soldier, and how she is now dead. So, yeah, that is where we left off. That's where we left off. So, we found Benezia, and we got the information from her. She died. We let the Queen of the Rachni go, you know, the race that almost wiped out the galaxy. And we got Ashley killed. We found our first Reaper, and we learned a lot about Saren and tried to stop him. So that was all of Mass Effect for that week. I feel like we are in late game. Now that we have met Saren and a Reaper, I feel like we don't have that much of the game left. I don't know, and I don't want to know because I'm completely blind, as you guys know. But I do have Mass Effect 2, and it's currently neck and neck with War of the Chosen. So we are going to be playing Mass Effect 2 pretty soon. Whether it's immediately after Mass Effect 1, I'm not sure. But within a couple weeks, probably Mass Effect 1. But I'm excited to do it. And I don't know. I don't want to know what's going to happen. That's some of the fun. That's why I play it blindly. I'm really curious what some of these lasting effects are going to be. Like, are the Rachni going to rise up and come after us again? Maybe the Rachni will be our strongest allies against the Reapers. Who knows? So that was Mass Effect. All right, just a little bit about Darkest Dungeon, and then I will end this. It looks like it's going to be about as long as the last one. So Deathless Blood Moon is still going well. We are still on the same attempt. We've had no deaths. We had some very close calls. We've had someone on death's door with a bleed. We had a dungeon with a champion thing from the stars, followed by a champion collector, including double highwaymen that burst someone down to death's door with bleed, but they survived by some miracle. And not only did we complete it, we finished the entire dungeon. Just unreal. we've had a lot of good luck. Even when things are going badly like that, I would consider good luck because champion dungeons can be insane. We did finish off the last veteran boss this week. We beat the champion Necro, champion Siren. We unlocked the Prophet, who is what we're going to go after as soon as we do Darkest Dungeon again, which will be this Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The only two really big things to note is that we beat the Viscount, and we did it in one invite. So the epic length dungeon, like 30-something rooms or more, we did it with a single team all the way to him and killed him in 2 rounds. If you haven't seen that, I suggest watching the VOD. You can go to the Twitch channel and at any time, and above the stream there's a video link. If you click videos, you'll see all the recent VODs. Every time a stream is done, the VOD is automatically there for at least 90 days, and you can watch it at up to double speed. You can fast forward through. So I would definitely suggest checking out last Friday's Darkest Dungeon run, so the second to last Darkest Dungeon night of the week. Late in the stream, we did the Viscount, and we beat him in 2 rounds. And that was with someone not even hitting him. So we destroyed him. Crazy. Now, we did have a very scary fight that night, or Saturday night, with friggin' spiders. Spiders are so deadly in Darkest Dungeon. And I had mentioned something like, at the beginning of that dungeon, I said something like, hopefully we don't run into quad spider and someone just dies. So we run into one spider fight, and they almost killed our Vestal. They kept dodging. We missed them over and over, even like 82% chances, and we had surprised them. And so they all went, you know, at the end of round 1, and then they were so fast that most of them went at the beginning of round 2, and they double and tripled up on our Vestal, and she was marked, she was blighted. It was just, I saw the old road. I was so concerned. Man, I was pushing my chair backwards. I screwed up the green screen. Like, I was like, no, please, you know, RNGesus, take the wheel. And apparently RNG God smiled on us, and we not only somehow managed to survive that fight, but we finished that dungeon. We have not abandoned a quest yet. So all we have left: champion dungeons, champion bosses, the Countess, and the 4 Darkest Dungeons. So this Thursday night, we are going to go after the champion Prophet, and then I think we're going to go into the Countess, which is kind of terrifying. Countess is one of the major concerns on this whole run. So that was it for the game week. I think I covered pretty much everything there. I know we're really far into this. I'm about 30 minutes again, which I guess might be the time that these are going to take every week, depending on how much new stuff we got to talk about. Really quick though, emotes. New emotes are coming for sure. I have them scheduled to start in around mid-October. That's the soonest that this emote artist had available. We're going to go with a more traditional style, not the pixel, because it just wasn't working out, and it was just so hard to connect with people, and I don't know. You guys have heard most of this before. But anyway, we are absolutely getting new emotes, which will be amazing. Other thing is, we are starting to be more active. I say we, because I usually say we on the channel all together, because I feel like I'm doing this thing with you guys, right? That's one of the reasons why I stream. I feel like we're going through these games together. I feel like we're in it together to build this community. And anyway, in this case, I do have people that are helping in the back with the social media posts. So we are being more active on social media. So be sure to follow on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook, whichever one you would like to follow on to stay in touch with what's going on. And the more followers, more interactive we can be on those, the more attractive the channel might look for opportunities in the future for like sponsorship, like getting giveaways for you guys and stuff like that, which I think would be really exciting. But anyway, guys, I think that is it. I will be live again all week, aside from Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You guys know this by now. Anyway, see you guys in the channel. Thanks for watching.